I don't choose these stories. They find me. Listen carefully. I've always believed that museums carry a different kind of silence. Not the comforting kind you find in libraries, but a silence that feels aware of you. A silence that listens. Years ago, an old university friend of mine, someone I trusted, told me a story that he had carried alone for decades. He started working the night shift in a veterinary anatomy museum, the type filled with skeletal reminders of every creature we share the planet with. Horses, jaguars, cattle, dogs, birds, all stripped down to their clean white geometry, suspended on wires or pinned behind glass. It wasn't a haunted place, just still, too still. And one night, long after the building should have emptied, he learned what stillness can mean. He stayed late cataloging specimens, something he did often without thinking twice. Hours slipped away unnoticed, the way they sometimes do when you're alone with tasks that demand precision. At some point past midnight, he realized the main doors had already been locked. The building had sealed him in without ceremony, as though the night had quietly folded over him. He told me the first thing he felt was not fear, but inconvenience. A long night ahead, no phone in the specimen room, no cell signal among the concrete walls and metal fixtures. He walked the central corridor, the one lined with floor-to-ceiling cases, rows of skulls with empty eye sockets watching him pass. The overhead lights buzzed with a tired electrical hum, a vibration that seemed to crawl along the glass. He said that with each step, the rhythm of his footsteps seemed to echo a little too long, a little too deliberately, as if the building was repeating every sound back to him with just a fraction of delay. Then he noticed the temperature shift, a drop so slow he almost missed it, like the museum exhaling. He was halfway down a corridor of large animal skeletons when he heard it. Footsteps, slow, measured, human, coming from a far end of the hall. He thought, reasonably, that a security guard had come in early, so he turned, relieved. But the hallway behind him was a long, uneven river of flickering fluorescent light, shadows pulsing in the gaps between the lamps. And at the very end of it, a figure, an old man in a white lab coat, tall, stooped slightly forward, thick glasses catching the harsh glow of the fluorescence. He said the figure paused as if studying him, head tilted with a kind of academic curiosity, and then continued forward. But something was wrong, a small wrongness at first, the kind your brain tries to correct on its own. It was the way the man moved, not the arms, not the shoulders, but the feet. They weren't touching the ground. The figure advanced with smooth, unbroken motion, as if sliding on a rail the rest of the world couldn't see. My friend stopped breathing for a moment, and every instinct he had, every rational, adult instinct, collapsed into a single, childlike command: don't move. He shut his eyes, just for a heartbeat, just to see if the image would melt into something sensible. He told me that shutting his eyes was the last thing he remembered. When he opened them again, he was lying on the break room couch. Morning light, coffee pots humming, staff talking casually as if nothing unusual had happened. He sat upright in a rush, still wearing the same clothes, still holding the catalog clipboard he'd had the night before. No gap in time, no explanation. He tried to brush it off. Fatigue, a fainting spell, maybe even a dream mingling with reality. Anything was better than considering what he thought he saw. But later, when the receptionist arrived and asked how his night had been, he made the mistake of mentioning it casually. Just a sentence or two. The old man, the lab coat, the glasses, the face that looked both familiar and impossibly distant. Her expression changed instantly. Not fear, not confusion, recognition. Without saying a word, she walked him to the entrance hall and pointed at a framed portrait behind the glass. A black and white photograph, a little faded, a little too still. It was the founder of the museum, an anatomist renowned for his meticulous work, his dedication, his obsession with preserving every specimen he could get his hands on. The same man my friend had seen, a man who had died more than 40 years earlier. My friend never returned to that building at night. He said it wasn't the figure that frightened him the most, but the look on the receptionist's face, the way she'd seemed unsurprised, almost resigned, as if the museum itself had a routine, one that didn't stop just because the man who built it was gone. Some people talk about spirits clinging to unfinished business. Others believe in echoes of memory. But I think some individuals simply bind themselves to the things they loved, the way bones bind to the animals they once held upright. And sometimes, when the quiet grows too deep, they come back to check if everything is still in its place. The case ends here, for now. Reality bends more easily than people can imagine.